think the clarity that helped me working with Lynne was that here's a long-term purpose, and it needs to be very purpose-driven. So I don't feel like I'm working on something that I have to, but working on something I love to.
First, would you share with us where you were at before you joined the program? We always start there. We like to hear, where you were at, why you made the decision that you did to join Lynne's program.
For me, I think I joined Lynne's program at a very opposite of where most people would think you need help. Actually, I was doing really well at Google. I think I was like really, knocking out of the park with my work. But at the same time, I felt extremely exhausted, burnt out completely, and felt like, why am I doing it? Like I had been recently promoted, but at the same time, it felt like, okay, so why was I chasing this? Like, when you get there, you're like, wait, is this really what I wanted? And going through the burnout gives you that mindset of like, I don't want to do anything anymore, right? Kind of gone into a mental space where it was just blank. So with joining Lynne's program, one of the key motivation was like, wait, is this normal? Is this supposed to happen? And why is it happening? And I think that clarity that I got after the program on like why I'm doing what I'm doing and constantly being reminded of that to myself was super helpful to go through this.
And I'm also curious, I know you have a really special person in your life who's a big driving force. So would you talk about your daughter a little bit and why this was important as a father for you to make this decision?
So, when I was going through this was like during the pandemic. We are just coming towards the end of it. And I felt like I was spending so much time working and then barely able to make 4 or 5 hours a day, even taking care of her because she was at home. She was 3-4 year old then. And because of that, I realized I'm not a great person. I was like very short tempered. I was overworked, completely burnt out, not mentally present for her or for myself or for my family. Kind of gave me this idea of like, hey, am I being one of those person who I always thought I would never be, right? I'm being one of those not present parent. And that was really a trigger for me to be like, I don't like who I am. I'm not liking the way I am becoming, and work shouldn't be that much of a priority. Putting myself, my family, or my personal health above it was the most important thing at that point.
What kind of had the most significant impact from working with Lynne?
For me, I think it was a self-discovery journey where really working with Lynne, understanding what my why is, and and not just for that role or that for particular work, but also in life. And I think that is where I don't see Lynne just as a career coach, but also as a life coach, because it really helped me uncover my long-term, goals and plans and be very clear about it. So I wrote down this mission statement 2-3 years ago when I was in the Lynne's class, which is what has still been my driving force, including for my startup. What is my life goal and life purpose? And that's still my tagline on my LinkedIn today.
Tell me a little bit now about your emotional state and how you're able to lead, and how is that different than before?
Definitely, I started staying more calm in no matter what situation that came my way. I still stayed at Google 2.5 years after, 2.5-3 years after I worked with Lynne. And what helped me was like being very clear on what my goals were. I was not chasing promotions anymore, but I was chasing learning new things. So I changed a couple of roles within Google. At the same time, when you're, going through what Google went through last year, and as you might have heard for a lot of people, it's like it changed the company and changed the people in the company. Helped me maintain my calm and not basically lose my shit when I'm like seeing how things are falling apart. But at the same time, helped me recognize the triggers and made me decide that I don't want to be part of this anymore after a point, because you can, at some point you can see all of those things and you're like, should I fix it? And then it's also realizing that there are certain things that are not in your hands and not your fault. So you can move on with that pride that, hey, I know what I was doing was right. And actually today I left Google about 2 weeks ago. Just yesterday I got a call back from one of the leaders who was like, hey, you were right. This is what you called out before you left. And you've been talking about this for a month and nobody listened to you. But as soon as you left, this fell apart. And thank you for the heads up.
Yeah. So it sounds like you also were given tools to make the decisions that you knew you needed to make. So tools and confidence to be able to make those decisions.
Absolutely, yeah. It was tools and confidence, and also tools to really, be very aware of, as Lynne was just talking about this before this session, was like being aware of, like, the situations around you, being using all your senses to be very mindful, and also it's all about people, right? At the end of the day, so really reading people is a key role to understanding, how you become a good product manager.
So where are you now?
So last year, like we've been talking about the startup idea for a while. So last year, my wife took a leap to doing this full time, and she got us to a good point where she validated the market, she validated the product market fit. We came from a very broad vision and understanding how we actually crack this thing. And as this year has rolled around, and we're like, definitely a scary situation. Both of us are now doing this full time. I jumped in full time as well, but that's the conviction that we have, is like what we stumbled upon is definitely the right thing to do, and something both of us have been, like, using that as our life mission goal to chase. And to be honest, yes, I'm scared. I'm like very much in a state of like, holy shit, what the hell am I doing? But at the same time, I'm super excited, super happy to be doing this, because if not now, then when?
If you hadn't done this, what would your life look like? What is the risk for people to not invest in themselves and not take that leap of faith?
I think you can go through your life without taking any risk, but at the end of the day, you're gonna live with regrets. And for me, it's the other way around. I would rather do it and fail or not be successful than live with the regret of like, hey, I had that idea, I should have followed that. Look at the other person who did it, and like, we made millions and I didn't do it. Like, you don't want to live with those, somebody else did it and they're like, I had that idea 20 years ago. Like, okay, why didn't you do it, right? So been there, done that. There were other restrictions around me before, which including my visa issues and this and that. But finally at a stage where luckily we are blessed enough to be able to take that risk. We have the support of the family and the people around us to be able to do that. So definitely that is not like we count our blessings for that, and it's a personal decision. But I think just investing in knowing what you want to do, it's a double-edged sword, by the way, because yes, it is definitely going to open up that mind of yours to like, hey, where am I going? What am I doing long term? What am I chasing for, and for which reasons? But at the same time, once you know that and you kind of realize that, it's hard to unsee it and do anything that doesn't serve that mission.